Hello everyone and welcome back to another day of Road to TCG Worlds 2017. Today we are going to take a look at another updated deck, and as I am saying this, I realize I did not include the Ninja Boy that I wanted to include, that I really wanted to include. So, having said that, I'm gonna make the change live right here. Really want to play the Olympia. I also like Kukui, but I'm gonna drop the N for the Ninja Boy. I have the engine I have been using so far with the 4/2/2 4 Sycamore, 2N, 2 Lysander, and the 1 Kukui. So we do have the space for the Olympia and the Ninja Boy right there. But anyways, this is good old Yveltal Garb with 2 Tauros. Now, Tauros adds another dimension to the deck in that it allows you to have a different weakness. It allows you to deal with some of your bad matchups, such as Mega Gardevoir, a lot better. And yeah, I mean, Tauros is just really beefy, and you get access to the GX attack. Through Ninja Boy, you can actually surprise your opponents as well. So there's many advantages to playing Tauros. It also puts pressure with a single TCE against decks such as Greninja or things like that. It's really good to start pressuring them since turn 1. So instead of just playing 4 Yveltal EX and 2 Bright Knight, I'm gonna be using the 2 Tauros. That's pretty much the only improvement I've done to the list. We have the 9 energy for DTE, the engine I talked about in the video at the beginning, 2/2 Garb line in order to shut down opponent's abilities, and when combined with Parallel TD, it becomes a really good way to lock your opponent out of a match or out of recovering in the late game. 4 Seeker for Ultra Ball, only 2 Trainer's Mail this time. I can only fit 2. I would love to have the third one for consistency purposes, but I feel like having the utility Escape Rope, the utility Enhance Hammer, and the Super Rod are very good choices. Maybe you could consider dropping the Super Rod, maybe, but I'm not entirely sure about that just yet. The Ninja Boy, as I mentioned, does give you a few options throughout the game. Olympia also allows you to work with the maths, recycle attackers, things like that, or switch attackers much more easily instead of having to pay for retreat costs. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the deck. Shaymin are there in order to accelerate. I guess it doesn't hurt to remind ourselves, 170 HP, Yveltal EX, this card has been available for like forever now, 4 years maybe. Evil Ball punishes your opponent's high energy attacks, while Cyclone is a very conservative and very good kind of attack, and when combined with Kukui you can actually hit some good numbers which you couldn't before. When combined with Kukui, like 1 turn or 2 turns in a row, depending on if you have Fighting Fury Belt, you actually get to 2-hit KO a lot of things. So Kukui is a really good addition to the deck as well. And it could also maybe surprise your opponents, like if they do their maths for the regular rage attack and then you Kukui for that extra 20 damage, that could come in handy as well. So that's a deck I will save because I did make that very small change. And now let's jump into the ladder. I mean, Yveltal, if you want to like hear a little bit more in depth about the Yveltal Garbodor deck, I featured that deck at least 2 more times, or 2 other times in the channel. So the whole idea behind the deck is pretty much the same. This time we get a few new tools to play around with, and we are up against John Kettler from Texas. We've featured him quite a few times in the channel, and wow. Well, I guess I say this a lot, but my starting hand is definitely not great. He's actually using a Gumshoes deck. Okay. What? A Gumshoes Noctowl with some sort of water type Pokemon. So I'm gonna guess Octillery. Octillery is gonna be his acceleration of choice. The extra card we do top deck is actually okay, I guess, in the sense that it will allow me to get something going, but losing the 2 elixirs could be really damaging to us. There's a Remoraid, so I was correct in the auxiliary prediction. And Gumshoe's Noctowl, definitely not a thing I've considered, but my opponent does kindly end us, so hopefully we'll draw a little bit better off of the end than the hand we had before the end. And yeah, I mean, we find a Trainer Snail and we potentially find Shaymin, so I will happily take that. And if we can find a DCE, we can start pressuring my opponent's Pokemon. Gumshoes. This is Yungus. Gumshoes GX. I forget what the GX attack does for Gumshoes. I'm actually not entirely sure. But I would really, really love to be able to set up or to find a DCE. Now, how easy would that be? I would probably want to do this, Ultra Ball away. I could go for the safe route, but I really want to hit that DCE. Okay, I'll discard the Ninja Boy and the Darkness, I guess. Let's see how many DCs we actually do have. All 4 are in there, but there's actually 2 Darkness Energy Prize, so that might end up hurting us. I will grab the Shaymin, I will bench the other Tauros, and now I will Shaymin for 4 cards, which will hopefully put us closer to a Sycamore of some sort. We do find a Sycamore, but we also find another energy. So I'm gonna really discard that energy just to get a turn 1 KO. Is that worth it? Not entirely sure it is. I think I'm gonna do it anyways. The Fright Night Yveltal is pretty useless, and I feel like Fright Night Yveltal is going to steadily lose a lot of... Okay, so I can end instead. If I had Sycamore, I would have had the DCE. Yeah, I'm not gonna... Okay, I'll grab the Olympia, I guess, so that I have access to it later on. This is my first Berserker, so I still have 3 more, and I will have access to pretty much any supporter I want now at this stage in the game. And I do get the DCE, and actually I'm able to find even 2 max elixirs. Now my deck is half full, and there's 2 darkness energy in the discard pile, so there's only 5 energy in my deck. 5 energy out of 32 cards. In theory, like, odds of me hitting a max elixir are in my favor, but I think I'm gonna wait. There's no reason to get ahead of myself. I will eliminate the Hoot, and I have a Floatstone. I was hoping to hit a Darkness of my prizes, not gonna lie, so that I could end and therefore increase the chance of my max elixir hitting, but I'm purposely not using them because I don't feel like they're necessary at this point in time. Double heads for my opponent. That means Artillery and Gumshoes GX. So pretty nice for him. If he had only flipped 1 heads, he probably would have only grabbed the Artillery. Gumshoes does 10 plus something. 50 more damage times the amount of energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. Okay, perfect. So maximum he deals 110 damage. He's definitely not going to use the GX attack right here. And if he uses Headbutt Bounce, I actually get to KO him back. And if he chooses not to attack, I can simply pressure him off of Horn Attack. He uses Search the Premises. He sees my hand, he sees the end. He sees the max elixirs I did not play, And he also sees my Floatstone, and he chooses to end after that. Floatstone was important in the sense that if he played if he played a Lysander on any of my Pokemon, I had a way to retreat them, and I get the Floatstone back, so that's pretty good news. I could Ninja Boy. Definitely Ninja Boy. I could KO the Hoot as well. Definitely KO the Hoot. Because I did get a Verse Seeker. And I have energy. And I even have the Fighting Fury belt if I need to. So chooses to attach. Is he really going to damage me? And I don't mind at this point just using my GX attack. I really don't. Maybe he only did that to draw that extra card of the Octillery, but basically if he doesn't attack me, I will Lysander KO the Hoot. And if he does attack me, I will KO the Gumshoos. So I feel like it's a win-win for me no matter what. And once I set up Garbodor, he won't be able to see my hand, and he won't be able to use Octillery for recovery purposes. Both of which are good news. Gumshoos ability is actually really nice. Pokemon, and there we go, yeah. Pokemon is a game of information, and therefore having that key piece of information of what your opponent has in their hand every single turn is actually pretty impactful and pretty relevant. So I don't know, the more information you have on what your opponent can potentially do to stop you from winning, allows you to adapt to whatever your opponent is planning. So basically the more information you have on what your opponent plans to do and what he's using and what his overall like long-term strategy is, the higher the chances are that you'll be able to counter that effectively and therefore win the game. So we might be up against a mirror match, or we might be up against a Turbo Dark. I generally don't know which one it is. I do mulligan, but I am going first. So pros and cons to that. If I start Tauros, I could force my opponent to maybe not attack me. If I start Yveltal, which I do, okay, 2 Yveltals with an energy and a max elixir is a pretty good start. I'm not gonna lie. If we hit the max elixir, that's gonna be awesome. And whatever my opponent flips over, I definitely won't be needing Garbodor. Wow, but it's actually a Fright Knight Yveltal. That's a bit scary. Okay, gonna use max elixir here, and I whiff. I actually whiff, so I'll attach to the active, and I will Sycamore. I could end, but I feel like using Sycamore here is a lot better. I don't know if I want to set up the Trubbish here. See, the thing is, if he Lysanders this Yveltal, I'm gonna be in trouble. Or if he Lysanders my baby Yveltal as well. So what are the odds he turn 1 Lysanders? And should I go for Shaymin? That's another question. And should I bench a Trubbish? I generally don't know. I feel like Trubbish is not gonna be useful here. I definitely feel like Trubbish is not gonna be useful. And yeah, like if I can find more things, more elixirs, I make myself less Fright Knight proof, I guess. I'm not gonna bench the Fright Knight Yveltal though. That definitely don't want to do. And I do find an Enhanced Hammer, so if my opponent does do that, I can maybe set him back a turn. Not much else I could do at that stage in the game. And we'll see. I also have the Lysander as well. So if he Lysanders, I can Lysander back to maybe try to set him back a turn. He immediately Ultra Rolls away a Center Lady and a Garbodor. So the Center Lady I do have to take into account. in terms of what attack is the best attack to do in the following turns. Moving the max elixir might actually cost me though, especially if he hits here, which he does. Ugh. But he simply passes. Okay, I will take that. And what I can do here is Lysander up and attack that Yveltal. And I could either Evil Ball or Y-Cyclone here. I didn't play a single supporter, so I'm gonna do that. Focusing on whatever he attaches to, I feel like is the better play. And then, at the risk of getting my energy removed, I'm just gonna Evil Ball here. And set up my opponent so that even if he attaches a Fighting Fury belt, I can Y-Cyclone for the KO. He does have the DCE. Hopefully he Y-Cyclones. That would be best case scenario here. Oh, but he uses Center Lady. Ugh. He has a Center Lady. Yikes. Wow, he has... Oh no, never mind. Whoops. I was gonna say he has two, but no, he doesn't have to. Okay. I guess my opponent didn't have a supporter, so he had to have something. I find my Olympia, which now I wish was the Pokemon Center Lady. But what's my opponent's last card? That's the question here. I'm obviously not gonna be able to attack him, so I need to find an elixir and hit it so that I have a follow-up for next turn, but I don't. I actually don't. So I just Evil Ball here. He is in Shaymin KO range, which I guess is good. Does my opponent have? Yep, he does. Man, this is just really bad. Oh, but he didn't KO me. Wow. Thanks to the Fighting Fury belt. Okay, I will take that. I will definitely take that. And now, basically all I need to do is Y-Cyclone here. My opponent has one card in hand. My opponent only has one card in his hand. I could play Olympia, but no. Oh, I actually should play the Olympia, I think. Because if I don't play the Olympia, he promotes the baby or the Fright Night Yveltal and KOs me. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna Verse Seeker for Olympia. I'm going to Olympia into Shaymin. And I'm going to Sky Return. KO that Yveltal EX. Yeah, that seems like the best play here. Definitely seems like the best play. So, my opponent did have a lot of good cards, I guess, for that particular turn. But, I mean, if he has the energy, he KOs me anyways. So, he needs a Dark though. Off of the top deck or the card he had in his hand. Does he get it? Floatstone, that's not an energy, and he passes. Okay, so I have the TC, and that's game. That is game. Just enough to KO. Perfect. So yeah, my opponent drew pretty badly. Very unfortunate for him. And we managed to take a win there. We actually managed to take a win. So yeah, like, he had the right cards to avoid a KO coming from me, and then whiffing the max elixir could have really set us back, but having the Fighting Fury belt helped us survive, and then having the Olympia helped us survive the next turn. So that was pretty good. That was definitely pretty good. Off of the two prices, maybe my opponent could have hit something. Maybe that was risky though. Maybe that was a bit too risky. I'm not entirely sure. But it worked out. Like, the odds of him top decking out of that were, I'm not gonna say low, because he still had like all the outs, the Trainer's Mails, the Sycamores, the Ends, the Kukui, whatever. But they weren't particularly high either, because his deck was full of other things, like more Darkrai's, like Ultra Ball, like float stones, which we saw him attach, so he was definitely, or he definitely had one, or he definitely top decked that eventually. And yeah, we get our 4 holo energy. I only have 4 holo energy of the generations energy, and then I have 5 of the other ones. So it's pretty funny that I would actually get all 5 of, or rather all 4 holo ones in the starting hand. Anyways, we are up against Garbodor, which is not good news. Due to darkness resistance, due to the fairy drops. And yeah, I mean, Dark is definitely hyped up for the next regionals. So I turn 1 in immediately. We had a pretty okay hand. Dark is definitely hyped up for Anaheim, so maybe Mega Gardevoir is a good option. Maybe people will see into that and therefore try to play some metal decks. I don't know. Like, the metagame is really open here, or right now, because of the fact that we just had a new set. There are a lot of hype cards, and who knows what you're gonna go up against. But I guess Greninja going down and then Dark being hyped up does make a good case to use Mega Gardy. Definitely makes a good case for Mega Gardy. Okay, so my opponent gets pretty much the ideal start here, I would say. Unless I find a way. Wow. No, he can't play the Hex Maniac this turn because he used them. So if I find a way to retreat into the Fright Night Yveltal here, I might be okay. If it's even available. Ugh. This is gonna be soul crushing. Gonna discard a Darkness and the Yveltal EX. And it is there. Okay, so that's good. Now we need to find a float stone. We really need to find a float stone. Okay. 1 max elixir hits. Can we hit 2? Wow, I can. That's pretty awesome. So, can I hit the float stone though? I don't think odds are very high for me to hit the float stone, but I do. Wow. That's it. That is absolutely insane, guys. Like, this is really lucky. This is absolutely incredibly lucky. That is way too lucky. Way too lucky. Okay, off of the trainer's mail, I guess I'll keep the Olympia just in case. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Keep the Olympia just in case, and I'm gonna pitch Black Spear the two Gardevoirs with the Spirit Links. So if he wants to evolve, he either needs to play the Hex Maniac and then evolve, which is definitely a play, or he can simply escape rope. That's fair too. I'll promote the Yveltal EX. I don't think I really need it. He's... Damn. I was really hoping he wouldn't get that. And he has a switch. So escape rope plus switch off of the N. Shucks. But it's okay. We are okay here. Turns mail into a Verseeker. Verseeker into a Shaymin drop. My opponent could play an end here, maybe. If he wants to get greedy and try to KO, and looks like he will. So that opens up the possibility for us to find a Lysander. Yeah, that opens up the possibility for us to find a Lysander. Which we don't, but I do have access to Shaymin. He removes the float, I have another float, and I myself have the escape rope. But if I escape rope, Well, no, actually, because he's gonna discard the 2 Shaymins and the Rattata. That's great. So now, whatever I do escape rope into, will hopefully be trapped, because he's already wasted 1 switch and 1 escape rope. I would think maximum my opponent only has 1 more escape rope in his deck, so the odds of him having it, I would say, are relatively low. So as long as I have a Tauros follow up to my Fright Night Yveltal, I should be good here. I really should be good. Okay, so he promotes the Spirit Link Gardevoir. I promote Trubbish because I do have the Float Stone right there. And because if I find Garbodor though, I don't want Garbodor out this turn. Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bench the Trubbish and I'm gonna save my resources for now. So I need to find another Yveltal or a Tauros to attach to. And I do find Tauros, and I even find the Garb, but I'm not gonna do Garb right now. So I will bench the Tauros, and I will play the Max Elixir, I guess. I do hit an energy, but unfortunately I didn't attach. And now I'm just gonna retreat into the Yveltal and use Pitch Black Spear. I will definitely damage the Mega Gardevoir. I don't care at all for the other Gardevoir EX. So can my opponent retreat here? That's the question. That's a really big question. If he only attaches and evolves, that's gonna be great for us. Like really, really, really great for our long-term setup. Especially after I finally set up Garb, and maybe if I can find, yeah, he's gonna attach. If I can find the Fighting Fury belt now, I should have attached the Fighting Fury belt to the Yveltal. I really should have. Maybe I should have played Garbodor as well to prevent that Hoopa. But it's fine. I feel like we should be okay here. Maybe. Dragonite, Shaymin, and Gardevoir. So I'm gonna guess he has the Skyfield, and we haven't seen a Parallel City yet, so that could work in our favor as well. But he benches a Gardevoir. His hand is really big to use Shaymin. There's no point in getting back Shaymins with Dragonite either. Damn it. I was not counting on that. He had the Lysandre. I mean, I guess that's okay. He passes there. Okay. So, what I'm actually going to do here is I'm gonna Ultra Ball for a Shaymin. Because if I can find a DCE here, or my last Float Stone, and I'm gonna Lysandre up the Hoopa. My opponent should really have a hard time putting that Hoopa back into the bench. And I'm gonna Shaymin, and let's see what I get here. I get the Olympia, so I guess that can wait for the next turn. Do I even want to damage the Hoopa though? I guess I do. No, I actually want Hoopa stuck there. Well, if I damage it, I'm not entirely sure. Okay, I'm gonna attach to Yveltal. I need a follow-up to this, like to the damage that the Fright Night Yveltal is doing. I need a follow-up to that. And by not attaching to a Tauros, I tell my opponent, you attach. Like I'm inviting him to attach. You will discard a Sycamore and an N. For what? For another Mega Gardevoir? Weapon Shaymin don't work. He uses Dragonite and he discarded his supporters. He forgot about Garbodor. Or he didn't. Maybe he didn't. Okay. Never mind. He probably didn't. But that's fine. Like, I can... Okay. So he does attach to the Hoopa. But now I can actually Lysander the Dragonite. Like, I can just be patient here. I'm in no hurry. I am definitely in no hurry at all. And I could damage the Dragonite, but I'd rather get a potential 3 hits off of the Yveltal. So I'll just pass here, and then afterwards I can use Olympia. I even have the Ninja Boy. Like, I can Ninja Boy Yveltal EX into Tauros for a surprise KO on something. So I'm pretty happy with my current situation, honestly. I am actually very happy with this. And I have yet to see a Parallel City, so whenever I do play a Parallel City, that's gonna be pretty much game, I would say. There's another Hoopa, another potential Lysander target. My opponent plays a Putty Putty Rescue, so I get the Yveltal back, which is awesome. And I still have one more Lysander and one more Verse Seeker. So I should be able to seal this game by simply never allowing my opponent to attack my Pokemon. Like, hopefully I'm gonna Olympia out into the Fright Night Yveltal. And he's Sycamores. I could even play a deck out game at this point. My opponent has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 energy in play. Mega Gardevoir usually plays 7, so I can simply draw pass. I literally can simply draw pass here. And there we go. Yeah, my opponent had no way to win. He actually had no way to win. Maybe if he had another Escape Rope, that was his out. But I feel like I had enough attackers to be able to deal with my opponent's threats at this point in time, and I have the Ninja Boy play into Tauros if I really needed that to KO a clean Mega Gardevoir. So yeah, I mean, Tauros hasn't really come into play as of yet. I haven't been able to use the GX attack either, but I don't know, Yveltal is still really strong, and you saw how badly we dominated that Mega Gardevoir, which is supposedly a bad matchup. So I don't think I saw any Fairy Drop, so maybe my opponent wasn't using any. That would definitely make the matchup a lot harder. But you're able to play around the Mega Gardevoir as well, and you're able to utilize Fright Night correctly. I don't think it's too bad of a matchup for Yveltal. Like, it's not the auto loss that a lot of people thought it was. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for being here. Hope you enjoyed the video. Yveltal is still really strong, and yeah, like in that last game, I feel like it was very important to not only consider, okay, I have to take my 6 prizes, I have to take my Mega Gardevoir, or I have to KO the Mega Gardevoirs. If you know how the usual lists look like, how the meta game is shaping up, etc., like, you count your opponent's energy in play, and that's 7. So that means he would never be able to retreat that Dragonite. So you didn't even need to attack. All you had to do was draw pass, and he would eventually deck out. And considering a potential best of 3 50-minute scenario at a regionals, that win condition might be preferable, yeah, to winning the game outright off of prizes, because if you win by deck out and your opponent doesn't realize you're doing that, you might actually burn more time on the clock simply by going for that win condition without needing to slow play or anything. Obviously, I'm not encouraging slow play. I'm encouraging thinking outside the box, and that win condition, like, both were, I guess, 100% guaranteed wins at that point in the match, but one burns more time off the clock than the other. So if you go for that, and then there's very little time to finish a potential game 2, then you are the winner of the round. So it's little things like that that you always have to keep in mind. And with that, I will say thank you guys. I hope you wish me good luck at Anaheim, which I will be traveling to on Friday. Despite that, there will be a video on Friday, of course. TCG Pokédex is coming back, finally. It's been a while since I made the last video, and we actually have a very interesting weekly top deck, so you don't want to miss that. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.